If you felt like there was something amiss, how did you compartmentalize staying in Cleveland and accepting that extension despite feeling like you were not being set up to win?
My staff, and then honestly, the placating that we're going to get this right, that we're going to do everything we can to get this turned. Hey, I sat there in an office with Mr. Haslam, his wife, and my agent and my wife, where we said, "Hey, look, you, I feel bad for what I did to you because I told him you have killed my career." And he said, "Hey, I do. I feel bad." And that's when I was given a contract extension and told, "Hey, we're going to make this right." And what made it right was 2 weeks after I lost my brother, 2 weeks into the 2018 season, I lost my mother 2 weeks after that. I lost my job 8 weeks after that. And so I get it. Hey, I understand it's about winning, but I was put in a situation where I could not win. And I think that's what everybody's got to understand. Just go back, and I would challenge anybody. If I am not being forthcoming and truthful about everything I've dealt with, then let's put it all out there. Let's the Browns say, hey, no, and refute it. And let's put all this paper out there that I have. And then we can see if I'm being dishonest or not.
The Browns have responded to your allegation a couple of hours ago. They, in short, called them
Mhm.
categorically false. What evidence do you have to support your claim, and what are your thoughts to their response?
I think their response is just like anybody would. What they're going to do, come out and said that we did do this, and they said deliberately. So that's really interesting. That deliberately is a really interesting word in what they said. But my whole key to this, at the end of the day, that it's time to do things the right way. I mean, when I look at this and I see what Brian's went through, I don't think it's fair. I know that these things that happen with our coaches also affect fellow coaches as they start to move forward. And I don't want this for minority men that are going to come behind me and be put in these situations. They don't deserve it. But I know for a fact that I can prove any and everything I'm saying. The National Football League know that I can prove anything and everything that I'm saying, and I don't run from that. So my point to them is, if they feel like I'm being dishonest, call me on it. Let's sit down in front of everybody and put it all out there and see who's telling the truth.
What action would you like the league to take with your now on record public allegations?
Well, it's always been my stance that I've always wanted them to investigate it. I truly believe that fraud is stands no place in the National Football League. That's in their constitution and bylaws. And when I brought it to their attention, I thought that's what they would do. That is not what they did. They did not immediately investigate, and that's what they say they're supposed to do. I was then pushed over into arbitration and had those conversations with an outside party through arbitration where all of a sudden, obviously, I didn't win anything. And it wasn't about the win. It was about doing things the right way. It was about using their constitution and bylaws that was supposed to mean this was the process to go through and not going through any of that process. So that told me all I needed to know, too.
Hugh, you've been out of the league now since 2018. Why come forward now?
Because I'm no different than anybody else. I'm tired of what has happened to coaches, minority men. I mean, it's been a 101-year history, and there's been 19 minority head coaches, and I've done it twice, and I'm grateful and thankful for that. But there's a lot of things that go on that I think people just don't know. And when I see something happen to another one of my brothers, hey, I've gone on record of telling the National Football League that I did not want to see anything else happen to any of my minority men this way, including Brian Flores. So this is to me was just like another slap in the face when I heard this. It woke up all the things that I was feeling, and right away I wanted to help and stand beside him because I know when you're out there by yourself, because I was out there by myself as a 1-31 coach with not a great record, and people, you become the brunt of memes and all this other thing. The difference here, Brian won a lot of games, and he did a great job. But at the same time, we see now what position has put him in. And so here's another black man who's saying, I might not be afforded the opportunity ever to coach again, but I'm going to do the right thing. And like I said, this isn't my first time trying to do this. I've tried this before. No one wanted to hear it.
Will you join the lawsuit if it becomes a certified class action suit?
If that's what needs to happen, I'm not afraid to stand behind Brian when it comes to anything because I know what our men go through, and I don't want this for the men that come behind me at all. I'm not interested in it. I think it's unfair. I think it's wrong, and I think everybody talks about doing right. The thing that's interesting to me, everybody wants to talk about everything but what's right. Well, it's this, the fans. What about what's right in life? What about being truthful and honest and forthcoming and doing the right thing. I think that matters more than anything.
Lastly, we saw in Brian Flores' lawsuit, he laid out some actionable measures that he thinks would help institute change. What do you think the NFL should do to engender real change?
I think real change won't happen until they truly go back and understand the issues that are being dealt with throughout football. I mean, let's be honest, when football started, minorities were not a part of coaching. I mean, they weren't even a part of playing. So I think we have to trace everything back to walk it forward, to understand where we are today. And I've made recommendations to the National Football League. I think just like we mandated taking the head out of the game, why don't we mandate hiring practices so that we can get real data and be able to say this is working or it's not working? Because I think those things are very important. But that's not, I understand we can't tell the owners what to do because they say the owners, don't want to hire people that maybe look like us. My thing is, hey, look, these owners, if they want to get to know who we are, they can. They have the resources to do anything they want. So at the end of the day, I just think until we really sit down and say what this is, I think we're going to still keep dealing with the same things until somebody really takes a stand and say, hey, look, enough. And Brian, it seems like he's doing that. And like I say, I stand with him in that process.
We want to thank Hue Jackson for joining us here on SportsCenter. Not only were you talking about this, it was also National Signing Day. Congratulations to those boys that are going to be joining you at Grambling State. And thank you for joining us here on SportsCenter. Hue Jackson.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.